Hello, cats and kittens. Oreva Jose Yoroshku, back in the crisis corner and the movie corner to give my impressions of Captain Marvel. And I've taken some notes. In an overall sense, as I would say, objectively, I can't say that this is a good movie. In fact, objectively, I would have to say it's a bad movie. But I got a subjective and a objective view. So I start objectively. I would say that it's poor craftsmanship in terms of how the movie was made. The I don't think that this should have been a theatrical release. If this was released on Disney Plus, I think that'd be acceptable. I think it's perfectly fine on Disney Plus. I don't feel that I got my money's worth watching this movie for a few reasons, but we'll get into that. One reason there's not a lot of effort put into the development of this movie. They left a lot of meat on the bone. There were a lot of things that they could have done, which would have elevated the film and made it compelling. Actually, in a lot of instances, that they just breezed past just to get to the end. It's likely there was a bigger film here, then they got chopped up into little pieces and condensed. I'd like to know what the original intent was, but maybe I don't want to know. I'm not sure. A main reason why I can't call this a good film is because the villain was crap. The villain was not good. The villain was not memorable. I can't even remember her name. It was some like whatever. Um, I It's one of the worst villains, and even one of the worst villain uh, plots, that I've seen in a Marvel film. I mean, that's just my opinion. And the plot was laughable at times. Elements of the plot were laughable, especially the motives of the villain. Anyway, maybe not even the motives of the villains, but the plot that the villain was trying to execute at times was laughable. Okay, subjectively speaking, there were things that I enjoyed about the movie. The Iman Vellani, I think, is adorable. I think she's like a little niece or a little kid sister that you would love to have. She's infectious. She's got good spirit. You can even tell that the actress was into it. She was putting herself into it, and she was trying her best. And I think she did a good job. I think Brie Larson gave a better effort at playing Captain Marvel than she had previously. I think it seemed like she was maybe more comfortable with the role, I guess. Um, it seemed that way to me, that she was kind of getting at certain times, which is where the editing issues show up. Sometimes, I don't know. It just seems like at certain instances it looked like she was into it or she was given something that she could work with. But in other instances it looked like she was just saying, reading the lines that she was given. But overall, I would say she did a better job at playing Captain Marvel than she did in the original movie. So I thought that was good. The chemistry between the three leads at times was good. I brought them. I yeah, I brought them as a unit at times. Sometimes it just seemed forced. That's the problem, because it seemed like they were in a rush to cement this friendship, and at times it seemed forced. It was like he could have, delved into some unnecessarily dark stuff, but yeah, some kind of dark stuff. But they didn't, not dark in terms of like disgusting. I mean, just kind of weighty. They could have got into some weighty stuff, but they chose not to, just to keep the thing going. And I think the runtime, based on what we were given, was appropriate. It could have been a longer film, even slightly longer, maybe 2 hours, 2:15, if they had got into some of that weighty stuff, but they chose not to. So if you're going to do 145, that's fine. So it's appropriate. Let's get to the plot. The Essentially, without giving up spoilers, a lot of spoilers, is that you have the Kree, who we've seen in various movies and so forth. We know at the end of Captain Marvel, she told what's his name, Jude Law's character, that she was coming for the Kree Supreme Intelligence. It's basically the AI that ran the Kree Empire. She was coming for it, and she was going to deal with it, destroy it, do whatever. So in the flashbacks, which as we can see through this film, the flashbacks would have made an awesome movie. But apparently in the flashback, she did come for the Supreme Intelligence, took it out in a spectacular explosion. She killed it or whatever. As a result, the Kree Empire was thrown into chaos. Eventually, they went into a civil war. During the Civil War, apparently, they exhausted their air, their water, and for some reason, their sun. Okay, so now evil Kree lady, whose name I can't remember, who is the main villain of the flick, she's on a campaign to go to other worlds, steal their air. It's kind of like Spaceballs, but steal their air, steal their water, and steal their sun. Anyway, and Captain Marvel indirectly is responsible for the Kree's losses of their resources. Therefore, evil Kree lady wants revenge on Captain Marvel. So that's the basic plot. So, and due to a contrivance, the three leads, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau, switch powers every time they use their abilities. You know, one would switch for the other. You see that much from the trailer. And the three leads need to learn the power of teamwork and friendship. So that's the basic plot. They learn the power of teamwork and friendship as they stop the Kree lady from stealing air, water, and the sun, which would ultimately affect the Earth because she wanted to steal the Earth's sun. My issues with the plot, which makes it ridiculous, are you're going to steal the air, and if you're going to go about stealing the air and the water and the sun, why not just go take over a planet? Just a matter of fact, the same planet that you stole the air from, take their water too. And then the issue of stealing the sun is just ridiculous because their son, why did their son go bad in the first place? That'd be a good movie if you tell me how that happened. Because sons just don't go bad because you had a civil war. Did they try to tap into the power of the sun to help them fight in the civil war, and then as a result it went bad? Anyway, so they're just it's nonsense. The performances, and I'm not going to get into a deep review here. I'm just general impressions, observations. Again, Captain Marvel. If you break down the thing, it's like when the Powerpuff Girls theme song. So Captain Marvel, she's the commander and the leader. Miss Marvel, she's the joy and the laughter. And Monica Rambeau, she's the brains. I wouldn't say she's the toughest fighter, but she's the brains. Now, when I say brains, I mean she's given dialogue to indicate that she's the smartest of the three. This is in no way is this to be confused with elite level, like smart person type dialogue. This isn't even like Kelvin timeline, Star Trek level, technical dialogue. It's just like chatter, like pseudo scientific chatter, enough to, like fool the mouth breathers and make you think that she's smart. And she recites those lines and gets it done, but it doesn't really give you a true feeling of somebody that's smart. It's just somebody that says stuff that makes you think that they're smart. And they would always have these scenes where she goes into her techno babble, and the other two are supposed to look like baffled, and she has to repeatedly dumb it down so that they can understand when it was nonsense to begin with. But whatever, it's fine. Uh, Nick Fury is a joke. He's been a joke since he came back from the blip. The main problem here is his character isn't consistent with what we last saw in Secret Invasion. Therefore, I don't know where they're going with this guy. He's not the Nick Fury from, you know, the early incarnation of the MCU. He's at this point, the performance even looked phoned in. Like Samuel L. Jackson phoned that one in. He's just reciting the lines that they gave him, and he's gone from being the face of Shield, tough dude, to being a buffoon. Borderline coonism, but that black girl magic line, that's almost coonism. Whatever. That's just my opinion. Whatever. Kamala Khan's family is in the film, which is fine up until a point. I think that if you remove, there's a certain point in the movie, if you remove them from it, everything would proceed, you know, without a hitch. They're not necessary, is what I'm saying. You don't need them, but only for a few things. They add weight in certain instances, but for the most part, they're just there because I guess to satisfy the tens of people that watch Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. Now I say that it sounds like it's a like I'm ragging on it, but I actually rewatched Miss Marvel and I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. It was innocuous. It was there. You know, I just wish that she had a little bit more gravity, a little gravitas to her character and to her origin. But and I mean origin in terms of like the Peter Parker, the why. You know, not necessarily her background or her culture or nothing. Just why she puts on the suit, why she does what she does, which they could have got into here. And I'll get into it a little bit. There's a situation where it pops off where uh, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, has to make a tough call in terms of who is to be saved and who's to be left behind. Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, you know, she doesn't agree with it. She's like, save everybody because she's that wide-eyed, you know, novice who's with the heart of gold and wants to save everybody, which is cool. It's consistent with her character. She disobeys Captain Marvel's orders and tries to save everybody, and Captain Marvel just kind of snaps her ears, you know, slaps her ears back and tells her, "Look, save who you can. Not you can't save everybody. You just got to save who you can." And they do so. Some people get left behind. You're talking about a 16-year-old girl from Jersey being witness or party to hundreds of people losing their lives. That should have been traumatic. That should have been something that lasted into the flick. Your hero, the person that you idolize, the person that you think, you know, walks on water, all of that, in your mind, just let hundreds of people die. You're either going to be dismystified, you're demystified, you're going to be confused, you're going to be something. But they do a training montage, talk it out, have a group hug, and it's done inside of 5-10 minutes. It's disappointing because you had something there that you really could have worked with. The same goes with Monica Rambeau and her issues with Carol being gone and not being around when her mom died or something to that effect. I can't really remember how it works out. But you had an instance where you could have delved into her being, you know, hurt feelings over her aunt basically not being around when apparently she needed her. They had a, you know, group hug. They hugged it out. It was done inside 5-10 minutes or whatever. Matter of fact, they had a few group hugs, I think, and they just hashed their things out real quick. They did some skip rope and all of that, and it was done. It's a choice. Anyway, I didn't agree with that, and I thought that hurt the film. Evil Squirrel Lady, she has no presence. She has no, she is not scary. She is not anything. She looks like a mid-level lieutenant for Rita Repulsa, Ivan Ooze. They did her no favor with her costume. She got silver fronts for some reason, which are comical if you, especially not knowing why she got these fronts in her teeth. Anyway, yeah, but there's nothing about her visually, verbally, or anything that conveys danger or a sense of dread. So that's a real handicap to, stakes and so forth. That goes into the special effects are okay. They're okay. Nothing special. Again, I don't know if it's theater level stuff, but they're okay. Some of the set pieces look small level, small screen level. The fight choreography, I think, is solid, no better. The costumes at times, I think, are poor. Going back to Rita Repulsa's side lady, the evil Cree lady, some of her costumes look bad, I thought. They look, I seen better at Awesome Con in DC, the cosplay. Uh, did they not know they were making a movie? I don't know. That's my opinion. And I think Monica Rambeau's final costume, I think, looked a little loose and a little, cheap. I did like Kamala's final costume. I thought that looked cool. What else? The music was standard Marvel music. Other issues I had. Yeah, the best parts of this story, uh, Captain Marvel taking out the Supreme Intelligence, the Kree Civil War, the touching death of Monica Rambeau's mom and stuff. They're all having in flashbacks, all off screen. That I want to see that movie, but whatever. I thought Captain Marvel could have, oddly enough, just to the issue of restarting the Kree's son because their son was going out because of the Civil War. She could have solved that issue apparently at any time. She could have just done it. I mean, she's like all powerful or whatever. She could have done it. There's no reason, even within the film, it was just suggested to her, "Hey, why don't you do it?" And she was like, "No." She said, "No, go ahead and do it." She was like, "Oh, okay." And then she does it, and she reignites their son. Meanwhile, the people who they stole the water from, the planet where they stole the water, you gotta believe those people are dead. But we don't even know if they took all the water because a battle was going on, and then they skipped away from that scene, and we don't know what happened. I'm assuming that all of the people on that planet where Captain Marvel apparently has a common law husband or whatever, they're all dead now. But the Kree people, I guess, are okay because they got water now. I wonder what the moral of that story is. But yeah, I mean, there's some weird stuff was going on in there. Just overall, in the overall sense, I can't call it's better than I think the Eternals. It's definitely better than Ant-Man 3. Not better than Shang-Chi. Better than Ragnarok. Not Ragnarok. Love and Thunder. Uh, although, yeah, okay, I'll go that far. Would I watch it again? I can sit through it again. I wouldn't go to the theater to see it again, but I can watch it again. I can't watch Eternals again. It's just holds no interest to me. I could watch Shang Chi again. I had no way in the world I could watch Love and Thunder again. It's just and last point. There are bits in here that they just should have not bothered with. In another world, I can see where that musical interlude or whatever you want to call it made sense or could even work. but it's out of place in this film, I think. If you just, unless, I mean, if you're going to go full goofy, go all the way in, right? But then you have some bits in the film that are, you know, have heart, have depth, or begin to have depth before they yank it back out and do something, goofy. The bit with the cats is just left field nonsense. I mean, it's baffling. The musical bit and the cat bits are baffling to me. I can't even. I'm not upset. I'm just baffled. I guess I'm stunned as to why you would even bother. I don't get it. But the musical bit I could actually enjoy on a certain level. And in the right context, I could enjoy it flat out and understand it where it is. But it seemed a bit intrusive in what they were doing. It just was just a weird choice. The cat bit, I could just live without, period. So, having said all of that, I would give it, if you were going on ABC type grading level, the best that I could give this film is a C. C at the best. That's the best I could do. Go see it. It's fine. It won't hurt. If you can sit through Love and Thunder, then you can sit through this. If you can sit through Eternals, you'll probably like this a lot. But is it a good movie? No. Objectively. No. It's not well constructed. It's poor craftsmanship. And that's just objectively. Subjectively, I can see how somebody would like it. Or at least parts of it. And there are parts of it I think that are well done. But just objectively, it's not a good movie. Is it the worst thing that ever happened? It ain't cancer, it ain't, whatever. It's just a bad movie. It's just another bad movie from the MCU, which, could get irritating after a while, but it is what it is. If that's the norm that they're dropping down to, then this is just normal. Now, will they ever get good again where they're cranking out consistently good work? Because I can only grade you by what you present. If you have a track record of doing good, then I'm going to hold you to that standard. But if you start dropping the quality of your work drops, I'm not just going to readjust my standard and say, well, this is the best you can do. So I'm just going to expect, sucky work from you. I'm going to just drop out. That's where my apathy comes from. I don't really care what they do, to be honest with you, because I don't think they can do any better than this. Once they prove that they can, fine. But as of now, I just assume that they're going to put out mediocre to bad work. And I'll catch it when I catch it. I just wanted to see this to see, just to go back to the theaters, to hop back in. And I haven't been in the movies since, I guess, last year, I think. Black Panther or something like that, which was another. As a matter of fact, was this better than Black Panther 2? Yes. Sadly. anyway, like I ain't jumping on the bandwagon to beat these guys down. This had nothing to do with, MCU. It got nothing to do with diversity. It's just a bad movie. It's not a quality movie. That's all I'm saying. So let me know what you think, and I hope you did enjoy it because I enjoyed some parts of it. You can let me know what you think in the comment section or not. Either way. Hope this was informative, and I'll catch you next time. Stay loose.